What's up, all-nighters?
Today I'm going to use this interesting backyard to show you the basic tools you need to master when you're designing a landscape in Revit. And by the end of the video, you will be able to model a simple deck with a swimming pool. Master basic Revit topography tools to create terrains with varying elevations and slopes. Import custom CAD hatch patterns for your site plan and elevations. And import and adjust rails and fences, as well as perfectly host them on uneven terrain. Stay till the end of the video to get access to Revit families that you can use on your project. The first thing we're going to do is set up our dimension line and project unit of measurement. So with the dimensions selected, go to Edit Type in the Properties panel and adjust the unit. After that, we're going to outline the pool area because we're going to cut it out of the decking later on. For this, we're going to the Modify tab and select the Polyline tool to outline the irregular shape of the pool. Don't worry if the curve is a little messed up. You can adjust the shape by using these anchor points. When you're satisfied with the shape, create or select the floor you made, and from the Modify tab, select Edit. Then with the Pick Line tool, select the shape you've just made. This will exclude the shape from the solid floor you made and leave a hole that matches its shape. Next, add walls and any other adjacent structures. In my case, I have to add the back of the house that needs to be included in the elevation and other drawings. The other thing is the walkway from the front of the house to the backyard. This can be a normal floor with material added to it later on. This is what the elevation currently looks like. Let's constrain these walls here so that they are linked to level 2 with the correct height. Next, we're going to create the land the house sits on, so go to the Massing and Site tab and select Topography. Then with the Place Points tool selected, place the points on the edges of the parameter. Then click the check mark. This will create the topography. To see it better, switch to the Realistic Graphics display option. Don't worry if it's covering everything at the moment, because the next task is cutting the topography to uncover the structures we need to show. For this, select the topography you've just made and from the Massing and Site tab select the Split Surface option, then select the topography again. Then go to the Modify tab and with the Pick Line tool selected, select the boundary line we made for the pool and click the check mark. Once again, select Split Surface option and draw the area you want to split like I'm doing here for the deck. Once everything is selected and you made sure it's a closed loop, click on that check mark once again. This will split the main topography from the ones you want to exclude, so you can select it and delete it. Once you remove all of the unwanted pieces, you'll be left with something like this. The next thing we're going to do is assign material to the surface we've made. For this, select the surface and go to Edit Type. Here, you duplicate the material by clicking on Duplicate, then selecting Edit Structure. Here, you can adjust the thickness of the floor, material, and graphic appearance. Once done, click OK, and as you can see, this floor now has the wood material we want to use for decking. Next, I'm going to add these planter edges by creating a wall here and shortening its height. Then continue to adjust the material of the surface. Some are gravel or concrete, and others are just grass. Next, let's create a level below the first one by selecting it and right-clicking, then create similar. Then adjust its height and length. This is because the backyard has a big slope at the back, and this level is going to serve as a reference. Next, we'll create the stairs that run along this slope. For that, go to the level we've just created and from the Architecture tab, select the Stairs tool and place it where it belongs. After that, we can adjust its length, number of risers, and slope to fit the adjacent land perfectly. We can draw a line through the risers of the stairs to use it as a reference for the topography slope we're going to make. Once done, select the topography and click on Edit. Then, with the Place Point tool selected, Place new topography points where the new lines meet the boundary of the topography. You can also create new topography for just the slope to make your job easier. Once the points are placed, you can select 2 points on the opposite side of the topography and assign them elevation. Elevation dictates the heights of these points, and the height of these points dictates the elevation of the topography at those points, giving you the perfect slope. As you can see, the slope perfectly matches the staircase we made, which perfectly matches the slope of the land we're referencing. The lowest part of the land has a different material, so let's split the topography there and assign a different material to it. The deck is floating in the air now, so let's add posts to it. From the Architecture tab, select Column, then Load Family to find the perfect square wood timber column. Load it into the project and place it at the edge of the deck. If its height or thickness is incorrect, go to the Edit Type window and adjust it. Next, let's add some railing to the deck. With the Railing tool from the Architecture tab selected, draw the railing as needed. Revit won't let us add doors on railings, so the easiest way to do so is to cut the railing and add a wall in its place. Then add a door to this new wall. Let's shorten the wall so that it won't interfere with the entrance. But there's a problem. The door is too big. To fix this, select the door and in the Edit Type window, duplicate it and adjust its height. Then go to Edit Family to adjust its elements and make it more fitting for the railing. Continue adjusting the materials of every surface to match the reference image and have a better graphic representation. When adjusting the graphics, sometimes the fill pattern you need is not listed in the available Revit patterns. So what you can do is click on this pencil icon and add new ones. But first, let's download some patterns. If you go to Revit City or cadhatch.com, you will find lots of fill patterns you can download and use for free. Once downloaded, extract the file and go back to the pencil icon, aka the new pattern window. Here, click on Browse to look for the pattern you've just downloaded, and once you've got it, load it to Revit by clicking Open. Now that your pattern has been added, you can adjust the scale of the pattern here in the Import Scale section. If you can't see the pattern on the material you applied it to, the scale might be too big or too small, so play around with the import scale until you get the size you need. Next, let's adjust the railings because they're currently boring. Select them, and from the Properties panel, you can click on the drop-down and select a different one. Once selected, you can adjust the structure by going to the Edit Type window. You can also change its material section by section. But if you want to change the post or baluster of the railing, you need to go to the Baluster Placement section and click on Edit. Here you can adjust everything about the balusters and posts. And finally, the fence of the house. The fence in Revit is actually a rail with a different family. Download a fence family and switch your railing to the fence in the Properties panel dropdown. One challenging thing about fences is that adding one to a stopped surface, which is what we have here. But this is not difficult at all. What you need to do is draw the railing/fence. And from the Modify tab, select Pick New Post and select the Stop Topography as a new post. As you can see, the railing/fence is now following the slope of the topography. And that's it, you have mastered the basics of landscaping in Revit. And as a reward for making it to the end of the video, here are the files I promised.